Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Y'all, today is the day. It is the biggest seed starting day yet in 2025. So you picked a great day to join me. If you are new, welcome so much to my channel. Yes, I'm always this hype. Yes, I'm always excited about gardening. My name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee. I am in Zone 7B. And every single week, I am doing a weekly seed starting challenge. And so this is our fourth week. We started at week 12 and we're just working ourselves all the way to my estimated last frost date, which is April the 20th. But no matter what zone you're in, I'm inviting you to do the weekly seed starting challenge with me, which means you're starting seeds every single week. The seeds that are appropriate to be started at that time interval. So that way you have all of your seeds ready to go and to plant, and that they are healthy when it's time to plant your summer garden. And if you're not new here and you've been rocking with me, thank you so much for always tuning in and watching what I have going on the farm, y'all. So like I said, we have been literally starting seeds for the last 3 weeks. This is the fourth week. And so we started with a video at 12 and 11 weeks before last frost date. Then we did 10, then we did 9. And so if you want to catch those videos that you missed, you can go up here to the seed starting playlist and get cozy and get all caught up. Now, just because I'm in Zone 7B doesn't mean that you can't follow me and do it along with me. You may be behind me, you may be ahead of me, but the varieties that I'm starting each week at each interval are the same exact crops that you can also start when it comes your turn. So for example, right now this video is 8 weeks before my last frost date. If you are right now at 10 weeks, when you get to the 8-week mark, you can plant these same varieties that I am planting. So everybody can participate, although we may be on a different timeline. And so what I do also in these videos is that I show you progress from the week before. The seeds that you and I started together, I show you the progress so that you can see I'm not blowing smoke and mirrors. Like, this thing is really happening, right? And you can see from week to week how my crops are doing versus how your crops are doing, to see if you are on the right track, if you're having the same type of results, if yours look the way mine look, if mine doesn't look the way that yours look, whatever it may be. And it's not a competition, it's just education. Especially if you're new to seed starting, you may not know when is such and such supposed to come up versus something else, okay? So let me show you the footage of how my seedlings are doing a week later. And these are the crops that we started last week at 9 weeks before the last frost date. I'm going to insert that footage right here. Okay, guys, this is the week 9 tray. You can see that overall we did have some germination. So starting on the left, this first row all the way down is chamomile. And so we have some pretty good germination all the way down, as you can see there. So I want to say, yeah, I have perfect germination. Except maybe this one. No, I think there's something there. So perfect germination on the chamomile, which is great. On the sage, it is struggling. I only have 1 out of 12. And if I remember correctly, last year I had a problem with sage as well. So we'll give it another week and see if more pop up. But right now we just have that one. Also here we have our lettuce. Remember, we did a 16 block of lettuce, and you can see that I have good germination there. It looks like I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 13 out of 16, which is good. Lemon balm has not done anything. Lemon balm can take up to 14 days, so we'll see if anything pops up. We'll give it another week. And then mint has done nothing. So as you can see, we had some okay germination, right? But remember, some of these things take a little bit longer than 7 days to get germinated. So we're going to give it 1 more week. So my sage is I hate to say struggling, but my sage has not germinated except that one, and then mint and lemon balm. Now, I'll give it another week and then I'll give you the progress of what happens. Now, if for some reason I don't have better germination on those 3 things, I will probably restart lemon balm just because it's something that I really need. And again, we make a lemon balm salve from our garden and we sell it on our shop. Lemon balm is great internally for digestion, an upset stomach is also calming and soothing. So a lot of people may drink lemon balm tea before they go to bed, but externally it is a great salve to use on any type of skin irritation, especially cold sores. If you're known to get cold sores or fever blisters, also if you have any type of itchy skin, things like eczema or just a rash, it is really soothing and calming for that. So I want to make sure that I have lemon balm in my garden. Now, if for some reason second round doesn't go well, then I will just look to buy some lemon balm, so I'll have it in my garden. But that is one that I'll definitely restart next week if for some reason I don't see it popping up. When it comes to mint, I think this is my second time trying mint, and I don't think I've had success with mint. So if this one doesn't go next week, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just buy me one mint plant. That's really all I need, is one mint plant. And yes, I put it in a container or pot, because mint's crazy, right? Mint wants to be in control over your whole neighborhood, okay? Not just your house, but your neighbor's house. So if you're new to gardening, mint is what we call invasive. So wherever you put it, it is going to grow and it's going to take over. So you want to make sure that you have mint contained. So for me, I always do it in a pot or container. It is never in my garden outside. It is never in a raised bed, because it will literally take over your whole neighborhood. Okay, so I only need one mint plant, so I will buy that if this next week doesn't go well. On what else? The sage, I have one popping up, and really I only need a couple of sage plants. I don't need a ton. When it comes to sage, I just freeze dry it and I use it in a blend and make my own Italian seasoning. And also I will keep some just as sage, and I'll use that in cooking, but I only use it literally usually during Thanksgiving when I'm making dressing. And if I want, I guess I could use it for like a poultry seasoning too, but I don't need a ton of it. So I'm good if I have the one, and then I can just buy one other plant and I should be to the good. So again, some things I'm going to be very adamant about, like I'm gonna keep trying and trying again, but there's other things that I'm like, okay, it didn't work this time, we'll try again next year. I'll buy a plant because I don't need that much. And again, you have to make those decisions for yourself. But let's talk about this week. Why is this the biggest seed starting week? It is week 8 weeks before the last frost date. And so from here on out, especially weeks 8, 7, 6, and 4 are some of my biggest seed starting weeks. So y'all, this is one of the biggest seed starting weeks of all. At the 8-week mark, like I said, we start to introduce and start seeds for our tomatoes, our peppers, and our eggplant. Eggplant is not going to be a big heavy lift for me because I don't plant that much, but peppers and tomatoes, I am sowing lots of seeds and we'll be planting over 100 plants. And so that's why this week is a big week. You're going to see that I'm going to go over the varieties that I'm going to be starting this week, but I will be starting peppers and tomatoes this week and for the next 2 weeks. Now, behind the scenes, I have already determined what I'm going to start each week, and there is a method to the madness. I did a members only video for my members, and I showed them and walked them through my thought process. They got a chance to see a peek into my brain to see why I am starting certain peppers and tomatoes this week versus at the 6-week mark. So if you want to have that level of access and content, feel free to join and become a member. It is $4.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. The link will be down below. But part of being a member, you do get member-only videos. You get access to early videos, so they see the videos before you guys see it. They also get a 10% discount in the shop, and they're able to ask and get priority reply to comments. So if you want to be a member, certainly do that. Otherwise, I'm still going to be shooting video content here on YouTube like I always do 3 days a week. But I was able to do a much more deeper dive. I think it was like a 45-minute video where I deep dove into why I'm planting what at each week. And so that is really, really critical information. But for today, I'm just going to tell you what I'm planting. I'm not going to go into the why. But one of the things I do want to mention when it comes to peppers, tomatoes, and eggplants, when you get into that realm, whenever is your turn, maybe your turn now, or you may be coming up in a couple of weeks, is that those are heat-loving plants. Not just heat-loving, meaning that they like the summertime, but when it comes to germination, they prefer heat to germinate quicker. Now, hear me when I say this. They will still germinate if you do not use a heat mat. They will germinate faster if you use a heat mat. And so ideally, they like temperatures between 75 and 85 degrees. And unless you're keeping your house at like a cool 80, then I suggest that you use a heat mat. I talked about that in a previous video when I talked about seed starting supplies. I would say definitely invest in a heat mat if you can. So these things that I'm starting today, I'm making sure that as I group them by trays and group them as such, that I'm going to put them together on a shelf, on my seed starting shelf that has a heat mat. I'm not going to mix them on a shelf that has my sage and my oregano and my eucalyptus, because those things don't like heat and I don't want the heat to be turned on for them. So everything that I'm going to be planting today that are peppers, tomatoes, and eggplants will go on a heat mat. I will also use an additional dome tray. If you haven't seen one of those, I'll try to pop a picture up here. I've shown it before, but basically it's a dome, a plastic dome that goes over the tray. That is going to help keep the moisture in as well as the heat in. And I find that tends to help them germinate faster. Now, if you don't have a dome tray and you don't have a heat mat, just know your peppers, especially your peppers, can take up to 14 days to germinate. So don't lose hope if you don't see something in the next week or so. So let's jump in and talk about the varieties that we're going to be planting today. So in terms of peppers, I'm going to be starting all of my, what I call my greenhouse peppers. These peppers are a hybrid from Johnny's, and they're specifically bred for the greenhouse to be able to withstand high heat and high humidity. And so I am doing, this is my third year doing it. I'm doing the Sprinter. I am doing, that's from Territorial Seed. I normally get them from Johnny's, but same pepper. Sprinter, Melina, and Bracanto. That's a red, a yellow, and an orange. So I will be starting those today. Also, I will be starting my Ajvarsky pepper, which is from Baker's Creek. This is a red roasting pepper. I will be starting that today, as well as, let's see, I'm going to save that for last. Let's talk about my jalapenos. I'll be starting my jalapenos today. So this year I'm only doing one variety of jalapeno, which is my favorite. This is Craig's Grande. They get really big, and so they're great for stuffing jalapeno peppers if you like that. But you guys know that we sell jalapeno salt, which is all the rage. Don't worry, you can't get it right now. It's sold out. It will not be available again until June. We made it all the way to December. And then we sold out in December. So obviously I need to grow more jalapenos, but we grow a ton of jalapeno peppers to make the jalapeno salt. Last year I did another version, another variety, I should say, along with this one, which was the Patera. It did okay, but these are bigger and better. So that's what I'm doing. What else? When it comes to tomatoes, I am doing tomatoes again that are going to be in the greenhouse primarily. So I also do some hybrid tomatoes as well that are specifically bred for the greenhouse. One variety is Rebelski and the other one is Cayman. I'm also going to be starting today a new one that I've never done before, which is Cherokee Carbon. I heard that it's a really, really good one. I'm going to be starting some cherry tomatoes today. And what else? And then I'm going to start some eggplant. I'm doing two varieties of eggplant. I'm doing a traditional Black Beauty, and then I'm going to do one called Listata. And then the fourth thing that we're going to be sowing today, so those are the peppers, the tomatoes, and the eggplants. The fourth thing I'm going to be starting today are marigolds. Yes, if you do not have this on your list, but you go to Home Depot or to Lowe's and get those little 6-pack trays of those yellow Tide marigolds that you paying $2 or $3 for, let me help you try to grow your own, especially if you have a big space like we do. I put marigolds all over. They're a great companion plant. They help to repel pests and insects. They're a great companion for your tomato, for your basil. For your tomatoes. And so I was buying a lot of marigolds, but now I am growing my marigolds. So I'll be planting and starting a ton of marigolds. So those are the four things that I am starting today: tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and marigolds. So now it's definitely going to be more than a one tray day today. So I'm going to get all of my trays together, map out. I've already kind of mapped it out in my head about how many of each one, but let me get all my trays together, get them filled up with soil, get them moistened, and start my season. We'll come back and talk about what I actually did. Okay, guys, so we are halfway there. Yes, just halfway. Because as I got going, I realized it is really the biggest seed starting week, because I did 3 trays, but I'm actually going to need 4. So I stopped because I was just running out of space on my table. But I've already started 2 trays of seeds, which is a total of 144 seeds. And really there's more than that because I did a lot of them 2 seeds per thing. But in this back purple one is marigolds. That whole tray is full of marigolds. This is a 72 cell tray. So again, if you've been following me each week, you've noticed that I have been using different trays for different applications. This tray right here is actually from Bootstrap Farmer. Let me see if I can find one that, let's see. I'll just lift this up. You can kind of see what it looks like. It does have the pruning sides as well, and you can see the holes, but it's 72 holes. That whole tray is marigolds. The reason why I started it in that tray specifically is because I did a whole flat, for lack of a better word, of the exact same thing. And so marigolds, I want to see how many germinate, and then once they germinate, they can stay in here a little while, and then I will up pot them into 6-packs. I will sell some of the 6-packs, and then obviously a lot of them will go in my garden. But we'll probably be starting marigolds again next week as well, because first I'm going to make sure that I have enough for me, and then whatever is excess, then that's what I will sell. But I know that they were such a huge hit last year that I will definitely do more. But we'll see how they germinate, and then we can up pot the ones that do well probably in 3 weeks or so. This tray here are the peppers. The start of the peppers. So I have my greenhouse. Okay. I have my greenhouse peppers. Here I have the Sprinter, which is a red bell pepper. I have the Bracanto, which is a yellow bell pepper. I have the Milena, which is an orange bell pepper. And then I have 3 6-pack trays of jalapenos to start off with. So that's going to be, what is that? 18 jalapenos, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, I think it's actually 4 trays. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 trays. So that's 24 jalapeno is what we have. So that's the start of the 2 trays. I'm actually going to take these into the house, so that way we kind of just doing it in stages. I'll come back when we do the rest of the peppers, the tomatoes, and the eggplant. Okay, so I came back out to the tunnel. It's been about 3 hours since I was out here before. You can see that I have my coat back on, because literally in 3 hours the temperature has dropped a good almost 30 degrees. So I am moving swiftly and just voicing this over, because I'm trying my best to hurry up and be done so that I can get out of the cold. It was a very nice balmy day earlier. It was about 60 degrees and about 93 in the tunnel. When I came back 3 hours later, it was 46, and I had left the tunnel front and back door open, so of course it cooled off. Had the door been closed, it probably would have been, I don't know, 50 or something, but the temperature definitely cooled off. So you see me starting my 3rd set of trays. I'll come back in and let you know what all we started, but I'm essentially starting my tomatoes, my eggplants, and more peppers. I decided to go with another tray of the 6-cell insert. So this is a tray of 72 again, and so I am just placing the seeds as I go, and we'll come back and tell you what all we planted. It's cold, just like that. Literally, I came back 3 hours later, and it is very chilly, so I'm like moving with the quickness. But here's what I planted in this tray. I have 12 Ajvarski, which is a red roasting pepper. I have a 6-pack of the Cherokee Carbon. which is a brand new variety to me. I have large red cherry, 12 of those, 12 Sakura, which is also a cherry specifically for the greenhouse. The Sakura is. I have 18 Amish paste tomatoes. I have 12, 9 Dr. Witchies, and then I have 3 of a brand new variety called Striped German that I'm trying. So again, everything that I do, at least I try, is to be intentional. So Striped German is a brand new variety to me, so I'm not gonna go rogue and plant a whole tray of it. I'm just only gonna do 3, and let's see how they germinate. And then if I end up with just 1 plant in my garden, I'm fine with that, because I just want to try it and see what happens. And that's not one that'll likely sale in terms of a plant start, because again, when people don't know what something is, they're less likely to buy it. But they know cherry tomatoes, they know like a red beefsteak. So again, I'm trying to be purposeful in terms of what I'm planting, in terms of the quantity. So this is the 3rd tray done. We have 1 more tray to go, and so I'm going to move this one up, and then let's see, where's the other tray? We got the other tray here, and then we're going to plant the rest of our stuff. So this is a 72 cell tray. I could not find more of my trays. This is why I say, y'all, it's important to be organized. When I'm not organized, it frustrates me, because it takes up more time than when I am organized. And I try to be organized, but for whatever reason, I'm missing some trays and I don't know where they are. So I was going to start these in 6 cell trays, but since I couldn't find them, I'm doing a 72 cell tray like I did on the first one. And we are going to do the Rebelski, which is the hybrid tomato. This is my 3rd year growing it. It is a slicing tomato that's specifically bred for the greenhouse. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a Cayman, which is also for the greenhouse. We're going to do eggplant. I told you about those. And I think that is it. And that's another reason why I don't like using these for things like this, because I don't know that I'll have enough to fill up the 72 cell part of the tray. So what I might do is fill the rest of it with marigolds. We'll see how far we get. And then another thing, one more thing, that these bootstrap farmer trays, this purple, the 72, one thing that I don't like about them is that it's hard to label and keep the labels in there. So if you can see, it has these little crevices or holes here, but what happens is when you pick up this purple tray, the labels fall down. And so I've had many a times where my labels got they fell and I didn't know what was what. I don't like that, but that's what we got today. So let's get to it, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Okay guys, so last tray I did 12 Rebelski, I did 12 Black Beauty eggplant, I added in more marigolds, since I know I was going to start some more of those next week, but because I needed to fill up this tray, I don't like doing half of the tray, especially when it's already done like this. So I did 4 times 6, that's 24 more marigolds, and then the rest I have 24 more spots. I'm actually going to do those in the house, and probably going to do jalapenos, but I only brought a couple of packs out here and I'm already out of those, but of course I have more in the house. So we'll finish this in the house. I'll bring it back next week and let you see the progress of how this did and what I put in these last 4 rows. But y'all, that is 4 trays of 72, so that is what, 280, that's like 288, so almost 300 seeds that we started. We did start over 300 seeds because there's multiple in each of those on purpose. So we start over 300 seeds today, 4 trays. All of these that I planted today are going to go in the house on a heat mat with a dome on it because they are all heat loving things and need heat to germinate faster. Once I see germination throughout the tray, I will take the dome off and I will take the heat off and put them under grow lights. The whole tray does not have to be germinated, but once I start to see some germination, I turn my heat mat off and then I put the lights on. A lot of times people will keep their heat mat on way too long, and that will cause you to have seedlings that are not good and that are not strong. So make sure that if you're doing that, that you do it and pull it at the right time. But y'all, it is cold. It dropped 30 degrees in the now. I've been shooting this video over the day, as I've had pockets of time. But I thank you so much for joining me. I hope that your gardens are going well. If you have not subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and be a part of this community, because y'all, it's only gonna go up from here. We are at 8 weeks before the last frost date, and y'all, it may seem like it's far away, but it is within sight. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.